up, Leo? How are you guys doing? It's time to take a little peek and see what's happening with you guys for the third week of June. Remember, this is a weekly check-in, so it's just a quick general energetic overview. I'm not doing the deep dive into all the different situations and scenarios like I do for the monthly, the bonus, the extended, the mid-month, and all that stuff. Okay, just a general energetic overview. So, for those of you who are in need of a personal reading, the information is in the description of this video. Oh yeah, one more thing. I keep forgetting to talk about this. For about the last 5 days or so, I've been hearing a lot of complaints about people not being notified when I go live, okay? And this is something that I go through. It's not like all the time, but it's once a year, once every other year. I have to make this big announcement for everybody to check their notifications because YouTube just randomly turns them off. That's not, I have no control of that. You are the only one in control of whether or not you get notified when I go live. So if you used to get notified every time I went live and now you don't, and you just open up YouTube and saw that I went live 5 hours ago and you never got notified for it, go to my channel, check your notifications, turn them on. Maybe you need to unsubscribe, resubscribe, and that usually takes care of it. So, all right, I need to make a community post about that. I got to remember that. I keep forgetting that. Okay, all right, let's jump into this. Let's just get a quick overview of your situation. Let's get a quick overview of Leo's situation for the third week of June, universe. Quick overview, Leo's situation. June, week 3. Oh, shit. Damn, straight out the gate like that, though? Drama. Conflict. Could be a fellow fire sign for some of you, but damn, conflict straight out the gate. Okay, hang on. 2 more shuffles. 2 more. Three of Cups reversed. God damn. This is a little toxic. You know that, right? You know that, right? Man. You ain't got to be a rocket scientist to figure out what's going on in the 9 of Swords, do you? Well, okay. So, I'm seeing some serious trust issues. Serious. Now, I don't know why. I don't know if somebody did something to betray trust or if somebody's just broken, paranoid, and insecure. This is just a general energetic overview. But I'm seeing some serious trust issues, and this looks like a pretty messy, toxic situation. And it really looks like it's getting to a point where this is just seriously destroying your vibration. Completely destroying it. Completely. So, yeah, some of you could be dealing with a situation where there's some sort of addiction issues, drugs, alcohol, something like that. Doesn't have to be, but since the devil card's here, I know it's a couple of you. But the thing about it is I've had people ask, what is the devil? What does that mean? The devil is dark energy, demons, negative energetic attachments, okay? And they can manifest themselves in so many different ways. Basically, when one of these little shits attaches itself to you, it just puts all kinds of nasty, negative thoughts in your head and can make it very miserable living in your own skin, and most people have absolutely no idea that it's happening, and it can cause all kinds of stuff, fights, arguments. It can make you do crazy, impulsive, stupid things that you wouldn't normally do. And it can definitely lead to substance abuse. But yeah, it's You get my drift, right? Some of you could be dealing with a Capricorn. Jesus, there's fucking trust issues here. Now, I'm not saying that there's a reason for there to be trust issues yet. But we do have the Seven of Swords. Okay? We do have the Five of Swords. Okay? Neither of these are trustworthy energies. And the Devil, and the Five of Wands, and the Nine of Swords. This is a mess. Let me see this person's feelings, energies, and intentions. Now, let's narrow this shit down and see what's going on here. Person Leo's dealing with, what are their truest, deepest feelings, energies, and intentions? Hang on just a second, y'all. All right. Seven of Swords. This definitely does not look like somebody that you can trust. Absolutely not. So now I'm going to try not to get too specific, but I feel like there's some of you who are being falsely accused. I know that's not all of you, but if you're being falsely accused of some shit you are not fucking doing, the reason why they're falsely accusing you is because that's what they're doing. That's what they're doing. Don't know who needed to hear that. But yeah, I definitely, however that energy manifests itself, I feel like this person's definitely projecting their own toxic shit onto you. Yeah. Ooh, very immature. Page of Wands. Death reversed. So this person's really holding on to a lot of negativity from the past, but they can't let this go. There's the conflict card again. Okay, and the codependency card. So this is a toxic codependency attachment. This person's very, very argumentative, very defensive, but not trustworthy. You ever noticed how it's always the people who can't be trusted who always flip out and throw a fit first? You ever notice that? You ever notice that? They're always the first ones to throw a fit when they're about to get caught and exposed. So, yeah. But they just can't seem to let go of this. Man, hang on, y'all. I'm glad this is my last video of the night. I did not expect this to be so fucking messy. Jesus Christ, Batman. Hang on. I gotta clear the fucking air in here. Whooey, shooey, dooey, and louie. Let's just grab the advice on this. Sorry, Leo, I didn't expect all that. Some of you did, but I didn't. God damn, dude. See, it's funny because I've been a professional tarot reader for, this is my 7th year. Is this my 7th year? I think it's my 7th year. And about 80 to 85% of the time, before I even lay the first card on the table, I start getting a really good idea of what's about to come through, or at least a vibrational idea of what's about to come through. About 85% of the time, sometimes 90% of the time. But every once in a blue-green moon, I don't know why, it just catches me off guard. And that shit caught me off guard. I didn't expect that. That's probably the nastiest situation I've read in weeks. Okay, well, let's just get the advice on this. Advice from Miss Cleo. This is the Miss Cleo deck. If Miss Cleo wants to use me as a clear channel, that'd be awesome. Even though I know she didn't really have a Jamaican accent, but you know. Miss Cleo, if you want to use me as a clear channel to give my Leo family some advice, feel free. Ooh, the moon card. Some of you are dealing with a Pisces. Hang on. 2 more shuffles. Six of Wands. Oh, that's interesting. Oh. Oh. Okay, some of you dealing with an Aquarius. Okay, cool. Well, in retrospect, it's cool. But in the short term, it may not be so cool. But how am I going to word this? I got to be careful with this. This situation, to a very large degree, is happening the way it's happening for a very specific reason. Okay? It would blow your mind if you knew how frequently we as creator God beings plan before we incarnate for things to go horribly fucking wrong. We plan it before we get here. But it's not actually going wrong. It looks like it is from a human perspective, but from a big universal and spiritual perspective, it's happening perfectly according to plan. And it doesn't make sense right now. It's not going to. Don't even drive yourself nuts trying to make it make sense right now. But this has knocked the first domino into effect. That's setting off a chain reaction of events that's going to hit a very specific target later on down the line. Now, this is where the advice gets slippery. Am I just saying roll over and don't do anything? No. But I'm also not saying spin around in circles and repeat a toxic cycle, fighting and fighting and fighting and fighting and fighting and going fucking nowhere and creating karma. And I'm not saying that either. There's a balance in there. What I think I'll say for this situation is there is an art to climbing the mountain and ascending. Okay, I like to use the phrase climbing the mountain. That's the ascension path, the healing path, the evolutionary path, the manifestation path. It's like you're climbing a mountain. There's an art to climbing the mountain. Part of the art of climbing the mountain is knowing when it's appropriate to throw in the white towel. That's part of the art of climbing the mountain. Think about it. Do you want to be the king or the queen of the bottom of the mountain? I don't. I don't. If I'm not at the top of the mountain yet, let's say I'm right here in the middle, and you're here with me, and we're battling it. We're going at it. You can have it. You can have it. You want to be the king of the bottom of the mountain? You go right ahead. I'm climbing this bitch. You can have it. You win. Take it. You can take your little trophy and your little medal and be the king of the bottom of the mountain. You can have it. I'm going this way. So I would say draw the line somewhere. One of two things is going to happen. Either you're going to draw the line somewhere, or the universe is going to draw it for you. Now, there's pros and cons to that. The pro is that the most amazing people in this world, the most inspirational people in this world, the wisest people in this world, all have one thing in common. They weren't born that way. They didn't just wake up one day and push real hard and try to fart and accidentally start shitting wisdom. They got that way because the universe kicked the living dog shit out of them until there was nothing left. There was a complete and total tear down and rebuild process of that person. So, like I said, in retrospect, it's cool because who you are going to become as a result of the wisdom that you're gaining from all this shit is astronomical. Completely astronomical. Put it to you like this. 10 years from now, you're going to be looking back on this glad that it happened because it turned you into the highest vibrational version of yourself. But, you know, the not so cool part of that is that going through that process sucks 9 kinds of ass. That's the negative part. So now, situations like this are isolated, and you learn as you continue down your path how to develop that relationship with the universe. And when you find yourself in situations like this or situations similar to this, it becomes more apparent when it's time to throw in the white towel. It becomes apparent. That becomes easier later on down the line. Like me, for example, 10 years ago. Matter of fact, this year's 10 years was when the beginning of my journey started. 2015. I attempted suicide. Well, twice. I was revived from death once. Got caught and stuck in a mental hospital the second time. Then I lost everything and went homeless and lived under a bridge for 6 months. Now, at that point in time in my life, I was the most stubborn, relentless, fuck you, I'm doing it my way, I don't care what you say. I was so stubborn and so relentless. And I learned the hard way that I wasn't stronger than the universe. And over the last 10 years, now I can tell when the universe is pushing and I push back and the universe pushes back a little harder and I push back a little harder and the universe pushes back a little harder. I'm like, okay, all right, gotcha, okay. I'm done. I give up. Okay, not doing that again. I'm not doing it again. Gotcha, universe, dude. It's a process, and it's a very personal, idiosyncratic, private, personal, unique relationship with the universe that's different for every individual. So that was some long-winded advice, but hopefully you can grab something out of that helps you in this situation. Hopefully. Okay. I babbled on for way too long there. Let's see if there's anything new coming in for the singles in the 3rd week of June. Anything new coming in for the singles? Boom, boom. Anything new coming in for the singles? Oh shit, 7 of Wands. Knight of Wands reversed. Knight of Cups. So I would say, yeah, there's something new coming in, but I got the 7 of Cups here too. You know what this kind of feels like to me? It kind of feels like, I don't know, well, it feels like there's one specific person that you have your eye on. And it doesn't look like there's a lot of movement with that situation. Not a whole lot. I see you exploring a few different options, but nothing's really sticking. But there is, I feel like, one person who's particularly interested in you. But right now, it's telling me that a lot of you are just way too guarded right now. Yeah, I'm seeing somebody interested in you. I don't know if I think you're just too guarded to let anybody in right now. That's what this is telling me. Boom, boom. Too guarded to let anyone in right now. There's a lot of options available to you, but nothing's sticking right now. Right? You're not really connecting with anyone that you feel that really, really deep, passionate connection with, you know? And some of you, actually, a lot of you may know this. You know that you're going through the ending of an old cycle right now, right? You know that, right? Some of you do, some of you don't, but you are. You are right smack dab in the middle of a closing out cycle, out of one cycle and into a new one. And it kind of feels like time is standing still right now, but it's really not, honestly. Okay, well, yeah, so that's about all I can say about that. Let's get some advice. Let's get some advice for the single Leos. Have I used this deck yet? Well, I haven't used this one. All right. Advice. What advice do we have for the Leo family? Don't spend too much time trying to figure everything out right now. To a large degree, now again, slippery advice. I got to word this carefully. We already talked about this. To a large degree, right now it's time to go with the flow. Now, remember that everything's about balance. There's a time and a place for everything. You know, some people say, only dead fish go with the flow. You know, I hate that saying. Every time I hear somebody say that, I want to slap the shit out of them. There's a time and a place to go with the flow, and there's a time and a place to fight the flow. Right now is not the time to fight the flow. Right now is not the time to try to figure out what's going on in the world, let alone with all the fucked up situations in your life. We are all collectively right smack dab in the middle of the biggest shift that we've all seen in human history. I know I've been telling you all that for 2 years now, and at least we can finally start to see it now, you know? But this is a time to kind of go with the flow right now. Don't try to force anything. Don't try to fight anything. Don't try to figure everything out. And again, I'm not just saying don't do anything. What I'm saying is that if the universe is pushing back, step back. If the harder you fight, the harder the universe fights back, step back. If the harder you try to make sense of something, the less sense it makes, release it. Sometimes, and I know this can be kind of hard to do because we're so programmed to try to control everything, and, you know, sometimes giving yourself permission to flip off the switch and just say, fuck it. Fuck it. I've done everything that I can. Everything I can. I have exhausted every option at my disposal. And you know what? Fuck it then. All right, universe, dude. Have it your way. I've tried everything. I've done everything that I possibly can. Obviously, you don't want it to work. So let's just do it your way. Do what you want, universe. I'm trusting you. Maybe you'll run this into a brick wall. I don't know what you're going to do. But, all right, universe, dude. If something bad's going to happen, it's going to happen. If things fall apart, they fall apart. If this doesn't want to work, it doesn't work. If I lose this person, I lose them. If this happens, it happens. Whatever. We're starting a new cycle right now. Time to go with the flow. Okay? All right, y'all. I feel like those were the messages that my Leo family needed to hear. So I am going to go ahead and end this video here. Thanks again for tuning in and playing along. Don't forget, the information for personal readings is right down there in the description. All right? I'm out of here now, y'all. I'll see you sometime between now and the rest of all eternity. Stay blessed.